Right, we're in a temporary home. In case you notice, things are a little bit different. We'll be here for a little while we work on a brand new set over across the hallway. But let's talk about our weather here across Hampton Roads. High and dry as far as the radar goes, and we have seen a good deal of sunshine as we've gone through the day today. Notice a few of those showers again off towards the south and how everything's sort of rotating around in this direction. That's a big area of high pressure that's in control of our weather today. It'll sort of drift offshore tomorrow, so there's a potential that some of these showers that are down across areas of North and South Carolina could get a little bit closer here to Hampton Roads. So let's time it all out here with Futurecast through the rest of the evening. Generally partly cloudy skies. Still pretty warm for this time of year. Normal high is around 73. We're still looking at 5 p.m. temperatures in the upper 70s to low 80s. A little bit of an easterly wind will throw a few clouds our way, but in general partly cloudy skies for the rest of the evening. Into the overnight, should start to clear out, although the past couple of mornings we've had some dense fog around, and I think that potential is there again tomorrow morning just because it is so humid that we could see some of that dense fog once again as we start the day. Temperatures in the 60s to low 70s, and through the day partly sunny skies once again, and that slight chance of an isolated shower in a few spots. Better chances across North Carolina, but again we'll put those odds at around 10 to maybe 20%, especially through areas south of the state line. Notice temperatures back into the low to mid 80s tomorrow afternoon, above normal once again for Hampton Roads, and partly cloudy skies tomorrow night, maybe some fog again. We get into Wednesday morning, and really more of the same on Wednesday. Temperatures back up into low to mid 80s, maybe a degree or two warmer on Wednesday as those winds take a little more southerly direction out of the southeast. Talked about our tropical system, our hurricane that is out there. That is Hurricane Michael here just off the coast of Cuba right now, 20 miles southwest of the western tip of Cuba. Moving right now slowly to the north at 7 miles per hour. It is expected to strengthen into a major hurricane of Category 3 strength. That's why there's all those concerns along the Florida Panhandle and into the Big Bend area as the storm comes on shore. And you'll notice again that forecast track does carry it across parts of eastern Virginia and North Carolina. Here's Thursday morning. Here's Friday morning. So it's going to be a quick mover. Unlike, say, Florence or unlike we saw with Harvey last year, this one's not going to stick around very long. It is going to move rapidly off towards the east. So that would put the effects here at a little more of a minimum across Hampton Roads, but we still had the potential for some heavy rain and some gusty winds, and we'll nail that down as we get through the next day or so. Beautiful shot up across the peninsula right now in Hampton. Camera at the Virginia Air and Space Center. No, it's just a few clouds out there. 80 degrees, easterly winds at 10 miles per hour. It's 80 degrees in Chesapeake and Norfolk, 80 in Gloucester, 85 in Hertford, 83 in Wakefield and Portsmouth, and 81 degrees in Kill Devil Hills. So the forecast for tonight, partly cloudy, some patchy dense fog down to 71 degrees, 83 tomorrow, partly sunny. Unseasonably warm for this time of year. That low risk of a shower, same thing as we get into the day on Wednesday. High temperature of 84, 86 on Thursday. That's when we'll start to feel some of the effects from the remnants of Michael and a cold front that'll carry it out quickly out to sea. So still some rain on Friday, but notice that drop in temperatures, and the weekend right now is looking beautiful. Finally, a nice fall-like weekend. Upper 60s to low 70s Saturday and Sunday under partly sunny skies.